Turkey is one of the world's largest fashion hubs. It's the fourth largest producer of clothing in the world, and the EU's largest supplier of knitted fabric. Despite these facts, the fashion scene in Turkey is not regularly covered by Western fashion media.
The understanding, the state of mind in Turkey in terms of brand owners are changing. We are in a transitional period from a producer country to a fashion brand creation country like Italy, like France.
Follow along to explore the ins and outs of what life is like for the creatives in Istanbul. Beryl Türkmen, a Turkish native and a former fashion editor at Vogue Turkey, knows all about the challenges faced by fashion designers in Istanbul. She talks about what drew her to fashion, as well as what is holding Turkish fashion back.
Hi, I'm Beryl Türkmen. I was the fashion features editor of Vogue Turkey. I worked there for like 10 years, and now I'm just about to start a new journey in digital marketing in luxury.
Do you think that Istanbul represents what Turkish fashion is?
Istanbul is the only city which can represent Turkish fashion as a whole, because there are lots of people from eastern side of Turkey. For example, I am from Izmir, which is in the west coast of Turkey, and lots of people from Anatolia and stuff like this. So it's like a huge mosaic in here. So it's really eclectic. You can see both modest people and both like secular people, which dress in a quite different way. So I think Istanbul is the only city that you can observe what Turkish fashion is like. People in Turkey are really into like magazines like ID, Love and The Face, as you told me, because that's what we lack in here. We have like Vogue, Elle, Bazaar and many other L'Officiel, many fashion magazines like this. But for example, The Love is something different. It's like more radical, more avant-garde, more brave. So I think that we are really missing that in here. That's why people in here love like Love and ID and Days maybe. I think we are like chasing the thing we want to see. This is like a legit one.
Kate Moss.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Kate Moss, but I love this cover.
Yeah.
I mean, she never inspires me, but to be honest.
What do you love about the cover though, specifically?
I like the light, and this was quite brave for that time because we weren't seeing like scenes like this. I mean, she is lying there, the composition is perfect. It's like a beautiful photograph. It's saying nothing about fashion, but also saying a lot about fashion. That's what I like. It says a lot about not only fashion, but also like lifestyle. I mean, like LGBTQI rights, and also like body positivism. And before we know about this concepts like sustainability and stuff, this magazine was able to speak about that out loud, and they are so brave in terms of the shoots they made, the models they use. So this was always like a fashion Bible to me. I always collected them, and I can look back and turn the pages of the magazine and still be inspired. The shoots are never old, the contents are never old, so it's like timeless. This is a book from my fashion history class from university. Literally, I bought this in like first grade of university for the specific course, and afterwards, when I was writing for a magazine, I was always like looking it up, checking something, because in Google you can find anything, but you cannot find everything. So this was like a Bible to me as well. It's really useful, and I still read it like for like more than 15 years.
What's it about?
It's about like costume history. Like it tells you about the first aprons people used to wear, the Roman Empire, and then it's like a time machine. It takes you back then and takes you here. I love this. This is I bought from Victoria and Albert Museum. There was an exhibition about Alexander McQueen, and I cried there. I literally cried there. I was alone when I was like seeing the exhibition because my boyfriend was seeing other collections, and I bought it like as a souvenir because I'm a huge Alexander McQueen fan. I mean, his fan specifically. So this is like a souvenir from the exhibition. Istanbul Fashion Week used to be more fun in terms of the social events, in terms of the atmosphere, and in terms of the brands we see. It was held in Istanbul Modern Museum before, and afterwards it started to be held in a shopping mall. And we were seeing really beautiful collections, really inspiring collections, but I can never say the organization is always so good. We always had some problems with the organization because people are not giving a response to the invitations, and people are not telling that they are coming, and who says I'm gonna come, they weren't coming, they weren't showing up. So the organization was not always so perfect, but in terms of the designs we see, it was quite inspiring, and especially the core part. The core part is the presentation part where we can like touch the designs, we can try the designs, and like brands who cannot afford to make a show, they were able to show their collections in the core section. Lots of buyers from Europe, from Arabia, and from Far East were coming to see the collections there, and this was also really inspiring for us like editors.
One of the worst affected areas first time round hit again. They must wonder what further misery is possible for this region and the people in it. Trauma upon trauma.
Uncertainty and safety concerns have driven most of Istanbul's Fashion Week sponsors away, leaving designers and brand owners to find creative ways of promoting their work off schedule.
But after this bombing period, it definitely killed the motivation of the designers, of the editors, of the buyers. And since it was located, the shop area was located in a shopping mall in Levazım, many people didn't want to go there. I mean, they were afraid because we were always hearing some news, hearing some gossips, and like we were afraid to go out. We weren't even going out to have a coffee or something because we were like expecting anything, anytime. So many people didn't go there, especially people from Europe and from abroad, I mean. The buyers didn't come, the foreign media didn't come, lots of Turkish editors didn't want to go there. So it definitely killed the vibe of the fashion scene in Turkey. But this is not the only thing. Afterwards, when we started to heal and started to go back to our routines, then the corona thing happened. And after 2 years, then the earthquake, and then the elections, and then the thing, this is Turkey. Every week you expect something different in like politically or like financially. We are also in a huge crisis right now, like financial crisis. So we can never just be cool and create freely. We are always uptight and waiting for something bad to happen. It has been like this, I think from 2018 we started to feel this nervous breakdown, and we are still in it, but hopefully things will get better soon, both for Turkey and also for Turkish fashion.
Another major issue in Turkey is domestic violence. According to a 2018 study, 40% of Turkish women have experienced domestic violence. Beyza, an Istanbul-based bag designer and founder of Bera Design, uses her brand to support Turkish women by teaching them bag weaving techniques. Through this initiative, women have been able to leave abusive husbands and support themselves financially.
Hi, this is Beyza, and I'm the co-founder and PR and marketing manager of Bera. We came together with my sister and my best friend, and we thought that the right time had come. In 2016, we just founded the Bera. Bera is all female entrepreneur brand. It has been almost 7 years, and we are working with some small local women NGOs from all around the country. We have our own handcrafted collections, our own handcrafted designs. As you can see, that collection, we are working with local women who is no income, they are only housewives. We give them the techniques, we give them some crafts, and they are just making these designs only by their hand. These are some styles from our refined craft collection. We launched that styles on 2 years ago, and this is totally handmade with the leftover leather pieces. These styles, this design, just both recycled and handcrafted. We are working with some local women and just housewives. There has no any income from their family or just from their work. We just use our leftover leather pieces from our previous collections, and we cut the leathers like this kind of stripes, and we gave all leathers to our partners, our local women partners, and they just start knitting from the bottom. You can see all details inside. It's totally handmade. This is our bestseller one because of being unique. Details, being unique story. That's the core idea of the
What's the
booklet.
story of like how it's designed? So like the actual shape of it.
Yeah.
Is there a story? to it?
The actual shape of this style, we inspired the natural basket because basket just also usable, functional, and timeless. But generally, baskets from made from just some fabrics or farm bamboos. But the leather baskets, it's the core idea of our timeless designs.
At the heart of Istanbul fashion is Nişantaşı, one of the city's main fashion districts. All the cool brands and creatives converge in this area.
I think Nişantaşı, I live in it for like 11 years. And this is the first place I started living when I moved to Istanbul. Nişantaşı is like the heart of the fashion in Istanbul, not because of the stores, like high-end fashion stores, but also lots of designers, like local designers are working in here. Lots of offices are here, and also they have like a production site in here as well, like 10 minutes away from Nişantaşı. And lots of tourists are here, lots of people who wants to shop are here. So when you walk in the streets, you can see like stylish people, or like you can see the street fashion quite well in here. And there are lots of cafes, so also social life is like going around here. So I think it's the best place to observe Turkish fashion and to observe Turkish fashion designers like as brands.
Turkey is a craft country. Everything from clothing to jewelry is manufactured locally. Taking advantage of this is Begum Khan, a jewelry brand putting Turkish craftsmanship on the map through its Ottoman Empire inspired creations, as well as designs inspired by China. The Nişantaşı based store turns heads for its distinctive green color palette.
Hello, I'm Begum. I'm a jewelry designer from Istanbul. The first cufflinks I ever designed actually again was not for the brand. I didn't have a plan to make a brand. My brother was getting married, and in Turkish culture, when a girl and a boy gets married, boy's family and the girl's family makes jewelry gifts to the girl. And it's a really nice, I think it's a really nice and fun tradition. And then before they got married, I was actually helping my mother, my uncle, my grandmother to choose the jewelry. I think I had a personal interest back then. And then I said, maybe we should actually make also a gift for my brother. And then they were all out of budget. Like, no, we, the tradition we make for the girls, we're not gonna make for it. And I said, okay, I'll make a gift. And then this is actually how it started. The exact cufflinks I was looking for, it was something timeless because it was a wedding gift and I wanted to stay forever. that him would say 20 years after, oh, that was the wedding gift from my sister. But at the same time, I wanted something really contemporary and young because I wanted him to wear it, and he was 30 back then. And when I was start looking, actually I couldn't find something that is classic but has an edge, or it's timeless but it's fun. And another thing I was looking is the budget. So the things I liked, they were really expensive. They were over like $4,000, $5,000, or the things that I find fun and cute, they were like $50. And then I said, maybe I'll make one. And then I made one, and then here we are. This is a special design we created in collaboration with Turkish color Plevneli and famous artist Ali Elmacı. And creating this piece, we are inspired from his painting. It's a limited edition. Scarab is our iconic animal, and on the display you see our an imaginary flying scarab created by Turkish artist Pelin Kırca. And here on the as a lightening, we revisited our scarab with the ball design. Is an earring. It's one of our best sellers. Actually, it's not in the store because it's sold out. And Serdar Gülgün designed these lamps for us. Also the turtle mirrors. It's all designed for the store. And here we have the cats collection. It's the naughty cat that I'm also wearing, and the flirty cat. Two cats fell in love in Istanbul, and it's a wild and sweet love.
Can you talk about cats actually? Because I've noticed being in Istanbul, there's so many wild cats.
Yes.
And it seems like people in Istanbul really love cats. Like you see people feeding all the cats.
Istanbul is famous with its cats, and actually even there are like hashtags cats of Istanbul. And then here actually there are two cats that I inspired from the street cats of Istanbul. One of them is naughty, one of them is flirty. They're wild and sweet. It's kind of a wild attraction they have, naughty and the flirty. The flowers are important for me because they are the roofs and the houses of my bees and bugs and turtles. They are one of the main elements of the natural habitat. So for me, working with flowers is extremely critical. In Turkey, we always have, when we were a child, the grandparents will give us a little eye. We call it the evil eye, but actually evil eye is not an evil eye, it's a friendly eye that protects you from the bad energy, from the bad eyes that you attract from the outside world. So it's a protective amulet. And here, I always work with different shapes of eyes. Here we have a shape that I put together with the pearls. Sometimes they come as simple as they are. They are really oversized versions of it. And then we also have tiny little mini versions as well. So this is a film series where strange coincidences and unexpected things happen. It's 11 movies that actually some of the cast are our friends. And then we shot part of this in my house in Istanbul. We also make bags and diamonds. And then I like these bags because for me they're not actually bags, but they are a jewelry, a piece of art themselves. I love working with natural gems because actually each gem, it's a design in its own right. They all come differently, and then also makes all of our designs same but very different, very unique. I work a lot with pearls. I work a lot with corals, different colors and different shapes of corals, and I also love turquoise. And this is our summer collection.
You are heavily inspired by the Ottoman Empire in a lot of your designs. So could you talk to me about that?
Sure. So I mean, being born and growing up in Istanbul, anyone who is slightly interested in culture, it's very difficult not to be inspired by Ottoman culture. So even today in the modern Istanbul, we see many buildings around us. So the modernity of the city and the past of the city, it's really melted in together. And specifically for jewelry as well, we have 100 years old craftsmanship tradition here. Istanbul is the capital of three ancient empires: the Roman Empire, Byzantine, Ottoman Empire, and now it's not the capital of actually Turkey, but it's one of the most prominent cities of Turkey. So it's a really important city. And then all these years, all this for the sultans, for the rulers, there was a lot of jewelry making. And I think the influence of Ottoman Empire on my designs you see in two ways. First is a really heavy influence of craftsmanship. We still today, we handcraft everything in Istanbul. We use old techniques. It's not a factory made. It's an old atelier with literally handmade with by a family.
So is this like a family that has been making jewelry for like years?
Yes, okay. And then usually, for I hope it will be that way in future. But usually, the elderly gives hand to the young generation, and then they give hand to the younger generation. So craftsmanship, of course, you can learn in school, in college, or in even high school. But the experience, it's another thing that if you are experiencing in your family, or let's say in summer, if you go visit your uncle's workshop, help around, then it's another experience you learn with craftsmanship. So let's say a design like this, can you imagine all these little stones are put on hand, and then I think this one we have around 2,000 gems. Together, I think they make around 4,000, as a pair. And another big influence, I think it's the design aesthetic. So designing this, I was always thinking the Topkapı Palace. It's so glamorous, it's so elegant. At the same time, it's very medieval. It's very sophisticated. So it's kind of in a way, a hidden, sophisticated glamour. It's not a glamour that on your face, but it's the glamour or elegance in the details of the palace. So yes.
That's really interesting. And to follow further from that, why do you have a lot of animals in your designs? I'm quite curious about that.
Because I'm an animal myself. And for many different reasons. First of all, since my childhood, I'm drawn into what's different. I'm drawn into whimsical, quirky. So I always choose attracted to different things. And then all the animals I chose, the beetles, the turtles. There's, in a way, they're beautifully ugly. And then it was so beautiful to show the real beauty in them. And also I find these animals really interesting. If you think about the scarab beetle, they outlived dinosaurs. It's one of the most fragile animals in the animal world. It's so little. It's so defenseless. It doesn't have a teeth, it doesn't have a claw, it cannot hurt you. But at the same time, it's so strong. They will outlive all of us, probably. And then somehow I find that really similar to myself. I am a really emotional person. I can easily be heartbroken. Sometimes I'm even myself surprised how fragile I am. But at the same time, I'm so determined, I'm so strong. I think I may be one of the strongest persons I know. So it's this dilemma I find in myself. I also find them in these animals. That's why I'm so curious and attracted and want to find out more.
Not too far from Begum Khan is another Nishantashe-based fashion brand, Sudia Twos, founded by Shansim Adali. She has been named a leading emerging designer by Elle magazine through her work that features flowy silhouettes of tall fabrics. She also has a fun obsession with Barbie dolls, which should become evident with time.
Hi, this is Shansim Adalı. I am the founder and creator of Sudia Twos. Turkey is a production country, and even if we have everything when it comes to textile, here I'm talking about the fabrics, the handcraft, everything, it's so rich. The only missing part was the Turkish brands, Turkish designers, because textile used to be like from father to son. It was a heritage from father to son, so we couldn't improve that. So we needed fashion designers. So with that motivation, I was studying fashion design, and my main goal was just to prove that we are more than that. We have really valuable designers here, and it's really hard from Istanbul to tell the world, hey, I'm also in the fashion stage, but there should be a way to present this beautiful handcraft and our culture to this stage. So with this motivation, I just finished school and then I started doing it. Sudia Twos is not my name, but it's who I am. Sudi refers to my Syrian roots, and Etus refers to my roots from Caspian Sea, so half and half. I'm the combination of both. My father immigrated from Syria, and my mother's side, my grandmother immigrated from Caspian Sea region. So it's Sudia Twos. It's the meaning of the brand's name. Each theme of the collection is about a story from this land. And for example, the previous one was about a really famous Turkish movie, and the others were just inspired by the stories of strong women from Turkey. So the story of the collection itself belongs to this region, and I always try to explain my story, their story from this land to the world. I love playing with tulle, and now we started using recycled polyester, but it's kind of not hard like this one. It's a bit softer, so 50% we're using recycled tulle, and 50% is unfortunately 100% polyester, but we try to reduce it and find a way. And I love trying new techniques and mixing handcraft with the machine. So, for example, in this design, you see our own print and color gradient, which was inspired from Dalyan. Dalyan is my father's fish farm, and it's in southern part of Turkey. Dalyan is also a place for more than 300 breeds of birds, and it's a really valuable place. And for more than 100 years, okay, I'm just gonna sum it up. Okay. My family is running Dalyan more than 100 years. So, and my dad passed away only 2 years ago, so this collection was dedicated to him and the fish farm, Dalyan. And so that's why you see the fish feedings here, and the color is just inspired from Dalyan. And here we try to apply 2 different techniques, and this is all handcraft, the beadings and this triangle parts. And then this is another piece from that collection, and it's a patchwork, which is a really long handcraft, which takes lots of time. And we style it with like boots and everything, and we just this is not for partying, for couture, it's just for the streets. Yeah. Just one piece of you can just wear it with jeans or anything, or you can use it for the parties too, by the way. So as you can see, we really love playing with tools, and I was famous for making exaggerated shoulders with tulle. This one is about a funny Turkish movie called Tosun Pasha, which is about 2 famous Turkish families fighting for a land called Green Valley, and there's a love story behind it. And I was really it is my favorite movie, by the way. And since my childhood, I'm watching this movie with my grandmother, my father, now with my kids. Still my favorite. So this one was inspired from that. So we are using sustainable denim. This is, we're not using water. It's just organic wash. And denim is recycled cotton. And when it comes to denim, it's really easy to find here the sustainable material. But when it comes to tulle, it was really challenging. As I told you in advance, I'm just inspired by the stories of women here, and being a mom of 2 daughters gives me more responsible about the women's rights. But it's not going well in my country, so. When I was 18 years old, when I was wearing a tulle dress, when you just start running with the dress, it gives you a freedom effect, and I love it. And because of it, I really do like the material. And I was famous for big shoulders, and I really do like giving the women a volume and a personal space. And making the silhouette bigger is just feels good. It took maybe more than 2.5 days just to make just hearts, and then just making the patchwork took 1 more day. So it's a really nice example of a handcraft. See my David Bowie and Elvis. I even have this one from Star Wars, Dolls of the World. You should see this one. We need to open this.
Christian Dior Barbie.
Yes. There it is. So, the story behind it is a funny one. In 1990s, it was really hard to find Barbies. There were a few, and it was really expensive. I remember we were in Bebek Park, and there was that toy store there, and I saw a Barbie on the window, and I really wanted so badly, but we couldn't just buy it. Even if we can just it was a meaningless expense for that time, so I was really upset. And then I went to the park and I saw the box of it there. They were lying, it was just on the grass, and I started running to it. I just took it and it was empty. I took the box, and then I was really angry, because I knew a girl like me just bought a few minutes ago one and just left the box, I was so obsessed. Not obsessed, I was so pissed. And then I just took the box and started cutting it. I was waiting for it. It was just, I was making secret. And then the funny part is, in my hometown, there's an American base. So in the American base, there were lots of Barbies. And I didn't know that my auntie just bought me 2 or 3 Barbies, and they were keeping them for Christmas. Yeah. Even if they knew it, they didn't tell me. So I was just, I learned it after that. And then it started like this, I always had nice family moments with Barbies. I was really a stubborn child, and I was not eating well. And I was just bargaining. I was always telling to my grandmother, 1 Barbie, I will eat really well. And it was really fun. Now they're talking about those moments, because I have so many. So that's why I guess I just started. I didn't know there were collection for adults. So I learned it 10 years ago. So if I just, when I travel the world, if I see a Barbie as a souvenir, I just, buy it. And it's Barbies and girls. It's just, but you know what? The funny thing is, I just, stopped again, because I was not that aware of the sustainability subject. I started learning it like 3 years ago, maybe 4. I had online courses from Caring, they just, so I was not aware. It's just shame, but I was not aware it was so bad. So just I started to transform myself first. So I just stopped consuming the things that not necessary. So I just stopped. I don't know. But the good part is, everybody is bringing me presents.
And they're bringing
I say okay. They know I love Barbies, so I'm not telling anybody don't buy Barbies from me. I'm not buying anymore. I just, So I just stopped, because after a certain point, and after you, after being a mom, just you stop doing like meaningless expenses, and it came where my mom started. It's just unnecessary expense. Just he did it, so I just stopped. But you can just the next time, flying from London to Istanbul, keep in mind.
And the Barbies.
Yeah, the Barbies. Yes, I'm always up for that. The other one is all pink. This is a present from Barbie, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. See that? It's beautiful. Yeah. And there's that one. This is the best present I got from a famous Turkish singer called Zeynep Bastık. She did this one to me. For her concert, I made exactly the same garment, and she just made it by herself and made a special box for me, and it's the best present I get. So, yeah, everybody knows. Even the celebrities know, This is from a really famous Turkish influencer.
That's amazing. They're making like custom.
You can buy me Barbies. The real Barbie collectors, they have a full house, just lots of Barbies, and the really rare ones. For example, I was trying to buy Karla Galfeld Barbie when it was first launched. It was like 8 years ago. It was like $150, and then it's sold out immediately. I couldn't just buy it, and just before Karla Galfeld passed away, I just searched it. It was like $1,000 or something.
Oh.
And then after his death, you should see now. It's like unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like gold.
Despite a lot of luxury brands producing in Turkey, many local brands have struggled to get the same traction as foreign brands that produce in the country. Metin Gürsoy, founder of Metin Gürsoy PR, communications manager of Amidst Turkey, and lecturer at Esmod Istanbul, has dedicated a lot of time to changing this reality.
My name is Metin Gürsoy, and I have an agency, communications agency, mostly based in Istanbul, and having partners in different cities. What we do is we create brands from scratch to the strategy, find names, logos, identities, social media strategies, mostly fashion brands. So this is what we do as a major job. And on a secondary level, I teach fashion brand management in a French school, Vakko Esmod, in Istanbul. And also I would love to give you some information about the city we are based in, Istanbul. For years, the Turkish state wanted to create international brands that we will be proud of, like, you know, Calvin Klein's, Donna Karan's and everything. And just because we didn't have the responsible persons in the key positions at that time, like 15, 20 years ago, when they came out like to create a Turkish international brand, just because they didn't have that state of mind, adding added value, it takes time, patience and everything, it didn't work. Unfortunately, I believe we still don't have a Turkish fashion brand internationally known. There are some brands who are doing their best, like Mavi Jeans, Le Benjamin, and all these kind of brands. They're trying so hard, but it takes more effort and more patience to do an operation in different states, in different regions at the same time. It takes so much energy, investment and everything. So they started to learn that. So for years and years, they wanted to make Istanbul a fashion center. But when they understood the state-run organizations which give supports, financial supports to these fashion designers, they understood that this fashion business is really not easy to establish in a city. And Istanbul deserves more. I mean, Istanbul is not a city in the middle of a desert. So it has so much heritage and everything. So it was a bit a wrong attitude for years, a strategy to make Istanbul a fashion city, because all these other major hubs like Paris, London, Milan, they have so much money, so much investment in their fashion weeks. They will never let Istanbul to become another major hub. I mean, it's true. There are millions of dollars of a business like this. Associations, the PR companies, the showrooms, the distributors. So at the end, after 20 years now, it recently started that we understood the value of being a fashion brand. And Istanbul in general right now is full of young, talented fashion designers. We didn't have that much of a fashion schools 15 years ago, but right now there are 7, 8 major international fashion schools which have branches in Istanbul, which is good because you become a fashion city with fashion schools, the industry, the state of mind, the right people, the right distributors. Now it started. I think in about 5-6 years time, not more than that, we will see and we will talk about some international brands. What's good about Istanbul, the Middle Eastern students and also some students from Middle Asia like Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan and everything, instead of going to Paris to educate themselves in a fashion school, which is not easy to get accepted and which is not easy for a Muslim student to get along in Paris and get accepted and everything. So this is like a hub they use as a jump point. You know, they come to Esmod, they have 2-3 years of education and they have the right to go and spend 1 year in Paris. So it's kind of a nice platform for the Eastern countries to get educated about fashion. So Istanbul is becoming like a fashion education hub for that region.
Despite the challenges that Turkish designers face, they push on, making the most of the country's manufacturing infrastructure. There's a tendency to only focus on London, New York, Paris and Milan, the most established markets in fashion. But that will not be the case for much longer. Shanghai, Tokyo, Copenhagen, Barcelona and of course Istanbul are fashion markets on the rise. Fashion is a global industry, and moving forward, this should be reflected in the way that Western fashion media covers the industry.